Hi everyone, Miae here. I'm doing my first ever video tutorial for Faber-Castell Design Memory Craft. I'm going to make an art journal page and just talk about my process. Thank you for following along. Here I'm using my Stampers Big Brush pen to draw my border. The Big Brush pens have India ink in them. The colors are gorgeous when they come out. Pretty much the color that you see is the color you get. And the India ink is archival and it's light, fast, and when you make your projects the color doesn't bleed through to the other side, which is a really nice quality when you're art journaling or using it on your scrapbook pages. Here I'm just filling in the white space on the top and bottom of my art journal page because I don't really want any of that white showing. I'm just going to have the blue border and the old torn book page. Next, I'm going to paint with the India ink from my Stampers Big Brush pen. I'm going to take the color I'm working with and draw it directly onto a craft sheet, craft mat, and then you just take your brush, add water, and start painting along. Applying the India ink this way gives a completely different look in my opinion. The color is not as vibrant, but it's also very soft and translucent. That's what I'm looking for since I want the lettering on the book pages to show through. So here I'm just taking the same Stampers Big Brush pen that I used to color my border, and I'm going to paint with it over my border to fill in all the white spaces. Okay, so here I want to create some texture on my page. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take masking tape, just plain old masking tape, and I tear the masking tape lengthwise, and I just start putting it down wherever I would like on my paper. I don't like straight edges, and so that's why I'm tearing the tape down the middle so that I don't really see any straight lines. So I put the masking tape down, I'm creating wrinkles and more of a raised texture. That's what I love about this stuff. You can just sort of put it down however you want, create whatever shapes you'd like to create. So here I'm taking gesso and I'm just using my fingers to apply the gesso just over the areas with the masking tape. I'm kind of patting it along and just smearing it out at the edges. I want the look of clouds, and I feel like this would be a nice way to create a feel of fluffy clouds. So next I take this bird that I made with grunge board. I used a bird mask and I just traced it over the grunge board and cut it out. Gave the bird some texture by covering it up with plain old tissue paper and then covering that with gesso. I'm gonna use gel medium to get the bird on my journal page, but it's actually not gonna stick very well because the grunge board is thick, so I'm going to use a little glue. Just wanted to give that tidbit of info. Next, I'm taking a pastel pencil, a Pitt pastel pencil. I'm going to use it to outline the bird. The Pitt pastel pencils are basically chalk. The inside the pencil is chalk, and you can get sharp lines, but just like chalk, you can draw and then smudge the lines and smear it for, in this case, a more dreamy effect of the bird in the sky, not a really harsh outline. So I'm going to trace the bird and then use my fingers to smudge that outline. Now, to emphasize the bird even more, I'm going to use an Essential Pitt Artist pen. These come with a couple different nib sizes, and they're great for journaling, and they're also great for doodling. In this case, I'm outlining, and I'm just kind of scribbling along the side of the bird. I'm not really looking for sharp edges, but more doodled edges. Okay, here I'm going to use my silver ice gelato, and I'm going to draw directly onto my art journal page. I love using this stuff. The colors are beautiful, and you get a really creamy texture, and you can smudge with your fingers, or you can paint by adding water. It's such a versatile medium. I love this stuff. I'm trying to create the sense of movement of the bird flying through the air, so just some shadows, sort of a sense of like the wind moving beneath the bird. So I'm smudging the gelato along, and I'm gonna do this again. You might not see that part in the video, but I'm gonna do this until I get the color, the depth of color that I want. I'm applying a little bit of extra glitter here. I want something a little bit more sparkly to show. So I applied the glitter and then I'm just, again, smudging that in with my fingers. I'm using my Essential Artist Pitt pen again to do my art journaling. I'm using the small size nib. Next I'm going to use the medium-sized nib to go over the journaling just to make some of the areas more bold. So hopefully you can see the letters better. I took a small heart punch and punched out a bunch of tiny hearts, and I'm going to apply them randomly over my page with my fingers and gel medium. Just giving the hearts a little bit more pop by coloring them over with a Stamper's Big Brush pen, and then also outlining them with an Essential Pitt pen. Lastly, I'm going to do a little bit of stamping here with my Stamper's Big Brush pen. It's a great way to stamp images, lots of different color choices. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for following along, and as the page says, follow your bliss.